Okay, NXT WarGames 2 coming from Los Angeles. So yeah, technically there were only 4 matches listed, but we did get a bonus match to start things off. As Matt Riddle and Cassius Ono were originally supposed to be part of the dark matches that they taped for this Wednesday's NXT episode. Instead, they kicked off the show with that, as Riddle came out, basically said, "Look, we're in LA, I got my stuff on, how about we just, have this match now?" And Ono came out and accepted, and pretty much right after the bell rang, Riddle hit the final flash, got a 3 count and the victory. So, yeah, that's how that went. Not much to really say about that. Exactly, except it was just a unique little kickoff to, I guess, get the fans already started, warmed up good. After that, we have the 2 out of 3 falls match for the NXT Women's Championship between Shayna Baszler and Kylie Sane. Sane hit a running dropkick right after the bell, hit back-to-back neck breakers after that. The two then fought to the outside of the ring, where Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir automatically interfered, allowing Shayna Baszler to get the coquina clutch on, and Sane very wisely tapped out so that the first fall wouldn't so the hold wouldn't wear too much on her. She immediately tapped out. After that, Shane countered a ring apron suplex into a DDT on the ring apron, which, as we all know, is the hardest part of the ring. And then Sane hit went after Duke and Shafir again. Hit an insane elbow onto Duke, Shafir, and Baszler, and then she hit a second insane elbow to get for a 3 count to even the fall total, basically at 1 apiece. And then after that, Sane countered a gut wrench superplex into a power bomb. That's then that Duke and Shafir interfered again, but this time Dakota Kai came down and attacked Duke, and then Io Shirai came down and hit a moonsault onto the 3 who were brawling on the outside. This distraction was enough for Kairi Sane to hit the insane elbow again, but Baszler immediately managed to counter that into a crucifix pin to get the 3 count and the final fall. Overall, not a bad match, but for a 2 out of 3 falls match, it was a little too quickly paced. The interference came out really early, like not much action had gone by. Like I think the match had only been going for a couple of minutes. And yet you're doing a 2 out of 3 falls match, which is a traditionally long match, and it didn't quite work out very well in this one, unfortunately. Okay, the next match is Aleister Black versus Johnny Gargano. Basically, if you don't know the storyline going into this, Gargano is the one who attacked Aleister Black and put him on the shelf so that the triple threat match for the previous NXT TakeOver got changed to a one-on-one last man standing match instead. And Gargano has basically been working heel. He's been saying, like, well, I want Tommaso Ciampa one-on-one. You're in the way. I'm sorry, but I had to do what I had to do. My actions are justified. He actually said, my actions are justified. If you don't know, again, the old saying in the wrestling business is a good heel always feels that his actions are justified. So, right off the bat, Gargano slapped Black, who responded immediately with a big boot. Gargano dodged a kick attempt by Black and then mocked Black's meditation pose. Gargano countered a roll-up attempt into a surfboard. Black hit a big boot, which knocked Gargano out of the ring, and then hit a plancha to the outside. Gargano came back and hit a suicide dive into a DDT. Basically, he dove through the ropes, caught Black, and swung down into the DDT on the outside of the ring. Gargano hit a slingshot DDT after that. Gargano hit a reverse Hurricane Rana, but then Black got right up and hit a knee strike after that. Black hit a spin kick into a German suplex. He hit the spin kick, spun Gargano around, and then got into the bridging German suplex. Gargano torpedoed Black into the second turnbuckle. Gargano hit a super kick and a knee strike for the 2 count. Gargano countered a lion salt, and Black countered the suicide dive with a jumping knee. Gargano countered a Black mass into the Gargano escape, and at this point, Black managed to fight out of it, hit a big belly-to-back suplex on it. Black then hit a big boot. No, yeah, he hit a big boot, and Gargano began to sort of profusely apologize for what he had done. He said, "Please, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And he started to kind of do the mimic where Black does, picks the guy up with his foot and then sets him up for the Black mass. Except Gargano was clearly baiting Black, and Black was hip to it. So when Gargano tried to roll Black through into a knee bar, Black fought out and hit a spinning knee strike, and then hit a jumping knee after that, and then hit 2 Black masses, and absolved Johnny of his sins, and then pinned him for the 3 count and the victory. Again, a bit of a shocking turn in the sense that, I mean, it makes sense for Black to get his win back, but at the same time, does absolving Johnny of his sins means the heel turn is over? Black is due for a roster call-up. I think it's common knowledge now. Like, he's going up pretty soon, if not now, exactly. So, don't know if you want to gear him up for another shot at the championship or not, but either way, I think it was a great match. Just good storytelling throughout, good counter punches and everything involved, good striking, good brawling, good technicality in the work. So everything went through pretty well. Okay, our next match is the NXT Championship match, Tommaso Ciampa versus the Velveteen Dream. And Dream came out this time in Hollywood Hogan NWO apparel. Dream, right off the bat, they did some chain wrestling, and Dream actually managed to kind of catch Ciampa in pseudo-suggestive position, and then he slapped Ciampa on the back of the head. Ciampa ripped off Dream's Dream Hollywood headband. Then Dream mocked Ciampa by rolling out and grabbing hold of the NXT Championship belt. Dream then hit a standing dropkick and followed that with a double axe handle. Ciampa hit a swinging neck breaker on the outside of the ring. Ciampa then hit a running knee into the corner. Ciampa hit a running knee with Dream draped across the Spanish announce table. Dream came back with a head breaker. Dream hit a big boot, and then a la Hulk Hogan. He hits the big boot, and then he hits the running leg drop. Then he hits another running leg drop, and then he hits another running leg drop. Dream then did the figure four leg lock around the ring post. After that, Dream locked on the figure 4. Ciampa fought out of that, got to the ropes. Dream suplexed Ciampa to the outside of the ring. Ciampa countered a kick attempt into a roll-up. He was holding the tights, but then the ref realized it and didn't complete the count. Dream hit a Death Valley driver for a 2 count. The two fought on the outside of the ring. Dream grabbed the belt again and hit his twisting DDT onto the belt for 2. Ciampa hit a draping DDT for a 2 count. Ciampa then went onto the outside of the ring. He ripped up the padding around there and exposed the concrete. Tried to do a hangman DDT onto the concrete, but Dream fought out of that and pushed Ciampa over the announce table. Dream then hit a DVD on the exposed concrete. He then went for the Purple Rainmaker, hit it, but Ciampa rolled off to the point that he was out of the ring, but his head was up against the ring apron, but his body was outside the ring. Dream went for a second Purple Rainmaker. Ciampa dodged it, and Dream basically landed on the ring apron, which is the hardest part of the ring, and injured his elbow. And then Ciampa hits a draping hangman DDT on the metal partition in between the 2 rings for the WarGames, and that was enough for the 3 count and the victory. And again, Dream due for a call-up now. I think he's done pretty much everything he can short of winning the NXT Championship, which, all due respect, they weren't going to do. I mean, I was expecting this to be slightly better than Lars Sullivan versus Aleister Black, but it was way better than that. So this exceeded that. Again, told a great story, had moments where you thought, oh, they might actually put the belt on Velveteen Dream, but no, obviously they're building towards Gargano Champa, I guess 4, for the championship. But right now it's like, but again, they convinced you that Dream might have actually had a chance in this, instead of just doing a sort of bland match. And that takes us to the main event. The Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders, Pete Dunne and Ricochet in WarGames. Here are the rules. Basically, there's each team has one person go into the steel cage with the 2 rings enclosed in. The others are locked into their own separate shark cages. 5 minutes after that, the Undisputed Era will put out a team member. And then the rest of the players involved come out in 3-minute intervals. Once the final entrant is in, the match beyond begins. Exiting the cage is a forfeit for the team, and the only way to win is to have a pinfall or submission. Adam Cole, Bebe, was the first for the Undisputed Era. Ricochet was the first for his team. Cole countered a flip into a backstabber. Cole hit the Higurashi neckbreaker. Ricochet hit a springboard European uppercut. At that point, the 5 minutes came out. The 5 minutes expired. The Undisputed Era their cage was opened, and there was a bit of confusion because it looked like it was supposed to be, I think, Bobby Fish, Bobby Fish, but Kyle O'Reilly stumbled or something. He wound up going out first, and they said, okay, I guess he's going out instead. Anyway, O'Reilly hits a dragon screw leg whip in between the 2 rings. Then Hanson of the War Raiders came out after the 3 minutes. Pete Dunne wanted to come out, but they said, no, you need to stay back. At that point, Hanson came in. He hit a big spinning power slam on Adam Cole. He then splashed both Cole and O'Reilly in the corner. After the 3 minutes was up again, Roderick Strong was next out for the Undisputed Era. He came in and he hit a big drop kick on Ricochet. Strong and O'Reilly then hit a backbreaker knee drop combo on Ricochet. After the 3 minutes was up, Rowe of the War Raiders was out. Rowe hit a power slam power bomb combo on Strong and O'Reilly. Fish was obviously the last man out for his team after the 3 minutes. At this point, Fish managed to swipe the padlock that was holding his cage stuck. He also pulled out a chain and chained up Pete Dunne in the cage. He then locked it and threw away the key into the crowd. Fish then went down and started throwing chairs that had the Undisputed Era logo into the ring. And apparently he didn't quite realize that in order for the match to actually end, Pete Dunne had to be in the match. So I don't really understand exactly what the point was for him locking on Pete Dunne. We'll get to another weird part later in the match, but eventually the 3 minutes was up, but they couldn't get the key unlocked to free Pete Dunne, so they had to use bolt cutters. Eventually Dunne did get down there to start the match beyond. He did throw some more weapons into the ring, some trash cans, some kendo sticks, another chain, and 2 tables. War Raiders hit a lariat German suplex on Strong. Strong and Cole then combined for an end of heartbreak backstabber on Ricochet. O'Reilly wrapped up Pete Dunne's ankle in a chain and was doing an ankle lock with it. And then Ricochet and Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly were basically running interference. Not O'Reilly, Strong, sorry. Running interference, keeping everyone at bay. But then Ricochet basically leaped over everyone to break up the submission attempt. Fish speared Rowe through a table. O'Reilly locked on a guillotine choke on Ricochet while lying on another table. But then Hansen splashed O'Reilly. Strong broke up the pin count there. At this point, a weird thing happened where Adam Cole basically baited Ricochet up on top of the cage. Kyle O'Reilly came in to lend a hand, and they tried to throw Ricochet out so that it would be a forfeit. Ricochet was holding on, but Pete Dunne managed to break it up enough. And then we had a Hansen coming in, and basically everyone except Ricochet was still on top of the cage, got involved in a Pyramid of Doom, and they all got toppled over the top of they all got powerbombed off the cage onto the ring. Ricochet then hit a double moonsault onto everyone as they came back in. All 8 men, and then there was this great point. Basically, the Undisputed Era rolled over to the other ring. Both the other team was in their side of the ring. They then kind of walked into the partition and basically started jawing at each other and immediately started smacking each other around. Cole managed to fight back. He hit the last shot on Dunne, but only got a 2 count on it. Cole went for another one, but Dunne dodged it, countered it into the bitter end, then Ricochet hit the 720 splash onto Dunne, and they both covered, not Dunne, onto Cole, and they both Dunne and Ricochet covered Cole for the 3 count and the victory. The babyfaces went out this time. Really, again, amazing WarGames match. The drama, the way it was told, the impact moves. Not quite, I don't know if I'd say it was good as last year's. I think both had their differences. There weren't a lot of huge spots at the tables and everything. You don't have a guy with a giant gouge in his head the way Alexander Wolf did last year, but still, I think, the 2 teams definitely worked better than the 3, I'll give you that. That's still not a true WarGames, because everyone knows true WarGames is a 10-man event, not just, 8, but still, it seemed to go through really well. I think everything was kind of building to the... exactly. I'd like to see where they're going to go after this, because afterwards, Dunne and Ricochet kind of looked at each other and sort of kind of held their respective championships up. Began to look at each other as if they had unfinished business, but they were still definitely on the same page. Don't know if or what the Undisputed Era is going to do. Obviously, they're probably going to have another match with the War Raiders for the Tag Team Championships. But definitely good things to look forward to in all of this. And if you haven't figured out, this show's definitely getting an A. After the last, let's just not talk about that. This definitely just was a thing to help revitalize the passion that I really had lost after that thing. So anyway, next video is obviously going to be the Survivor Series recap and review. I already have the Aliens Fast Track to Heaven review that was up earlier today, or on Saturday. This will be up Sunday morning. See you all next time.
Hey guys, tired of me always talking about WWE and NXT? Want to see me cover something like, say, Ring of Honor, Impact, New Japan, anything else? Check out my Patreon at Sleepy Time for Cat Productions and see how you can help me expand my wrestling coverage.